is the Business of Reselling podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Oman. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Reselling podcast, episode 54. This is just going to be an ad-lib one. I have no script or anything, but I do want to update you on some of the things I talked about in the last episode. As we are all experiencing, especially as Canadian sellers, we're dealing with a lot of problems with our eBay and online businesses right now, with tariffs mostly, and also sort of a general decline in consumer spending. So last week, I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about BidRush today because our first BidRush auction just ended tonight. I'm really happy with these initial results, and so I'm going to tell you about those. And I'm also going to talk about what we've been doing with our eBay store and some other ideas we have for sort of pivoting our business. Turns out I have a lot of reasons to be optimistic. So this is going to be good, I hope. And I hope it makes you feel optimistic about your online store as well. So let me talk about BidRush for a second. So I can't remember exactly what overview I gave of BidRush last week, but it's a brand new auction platform. And they're a startup company based out of Ontario. And they they're just really enthusiastic people. They're very, very new. If you look at the completed auctions on BidRush, I think there's maybe only 12 or so. I think they launched officially in July of this year. So really new platform. I saw an ad on Facebook for them and I liked what I saw. I liked the user friendliness of the platform. I loved how easy it was to set up the auctions. I loved the responsiveness of the customer support. And so we decided to go with it and try an auction. Now, Johan's been wanting to do auctions again for a long time, but I haven't been happy with any of the other options that were out there for online auction platforms. I either found them too expensive, too dated, a little bit cumbersome, or um, you had to pay upfront auction fees, and I didn't like that. So anyway, we ran our first BidRush auction, and I'm not going to normally be this transparent about the dollar amounts, but I do want to talk to you a little bit about this and why I'm happy with how it worked. So we ran a not great auction. I had 123 lots. There were a few key comic books in it, which we know we have to do to bring the buyers. But overall, like really wasn't a great auction. Did not have great stuff in it. We just wanted to try out the platform, trial and error, make some mistakes, see how it worked, ask a bunch of questions to the founders, and just kind of get a feel for it. So we didn't want to put up a lot of good stuff in this auction. We ended up with 14 unique bidders, and that's low. That's very low for what we typically get. Why was it low? I could theorize. New platform, people aren't necessarily familiar with it. Also, my email list, which even though it's 3,500 people, haven't been engaging them very well over the last couple of years. So our click-through rates on the auction emails that I was sending out were pretty low as well. And a lot of people who used to buy from our auctions just think that we don't do them anymore because it's been like over 2 years since we did one. So that's my theory why the unique bidders were low. However, we brought the right bidders. The auction earned $1,100 with an average lot value of $10.61 and a sell-through rate of 83.74%. And I'm very happy with this, honestly. It's like for the number of bidders that we had, I think that they showed up, they came, they paid. This is going to for sure be the lowest auction that we have. We're looking to supplement thousands of dollars a month that we're going to be losing from eBay sales with most of our items not being shippable to the United States anymore. So we have to figure out how to make this work so that we don't have to make significant changes to our business or to our lives. So we're going to start doing these twice a month. And the next one is going to be better. We're adding silver to it and better comic books. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. It'll have a little more variety. It's going to be a very cool auction. And we're going to do some more stuff with BidRush. And I've got some marketing ideas of my own to try and bring up that bidder count. I would really like to see 30 bidders or more in an auction. If we get that many, the auction, everything usually reaches pretty close to its market value. So we're going to do it. And if you're a reseller and you're thinking, like, is this a platform that I can use? There is a link in the show notes to a referral page from me, and it'll save you 2%. Well, no, it saves you more than 2%, but their fees are 12%. And with my promo code Storage Warrior, you will only pay 10% in fees. And there's no other fees associated with that other than Stripe. Stripe takes all the payments, and Stripe takes their regular merchant fee. And that is what it is. That's unavoidable. But 10% fees instead of 12% if you use the code Storage Warrior and click through the link in the show notes. So check it out. And if you have questions about BidRush, please leave a comment. I'm really happy to answer them. I'm just really pleased with this early result. It makes me feel like there's a future in what we're doing here. So I'm happy. So that's BidRush. Now let me talk to you a little bit about what we're doing with eBay. So uh last episode, I think I was saying that I was probably going to take all of my ebay.com listings down. That's what I did on the day that the de minimis went away, which was August 29th. I took down all the ebay.com listings. And then on .ca, I excluded the US. So if you're wondering like why I did that, like if you're listing on ebay.com, you can't exclude the US because eBay considers you to be a domestic seller, and domestic on .com is the United States. So you can't exclude the US on .com, but you can on .ca. So I took them all down and I immediately started cross-listing. I use Crosslist Magic. There's lots of great cross-listing tools out there. Kind of like one at a time, things to ebay.ca and or Poshmark if I thought that they were appropriate for that platform. Obviously with over 5,000 listings, doing this one at a time is like basically an impossible task. I've actually got it down to 3,200. But I don't know if I should keep doing this, if it's worth it to hire somebody to do it for me. I'm just not sure yet, but I'm still pecking away at the listings that I think are sellable, and I've actually been relatively pleased with the result of that. So I've been moving things over to .ca, and I've sold some items that have been sitting in the store for like years, literally for years. Did I drop prices on them? Yeah, a lot of the old inventory, I'm dropping the price. I'm going to take kind of whatever sale I can get these days. So it is what it is. But also, the algorithm on eBay treats this like a new listing, right? When you're cross listing it over to .ca, it's like it's a brand new listing. So you're going to get some of those algorithmic benefits from doing all of this listing. And yeah, I think we're seeing some positive results there. So .ca sales are significantly up. That doesn't mean much because we only used to have like 200 or 300 listings on .ca anyway, and I never promoted that side of the store, and I never did discounts, and I never did anything with it. So eBay.ca barely ever sold for me. So of course the sales are going to be up now that I'm focusing on it a little bit. What has really saved us though is that I was able to relist all of my comic books on ebay.com because I worked through both the Chit Chats and Stallion DDP, direct duty paid process for comic books, and figured out that A, they were tariff free, and B, the processing fees that they're adding on for this new system are really not that high. So I just increased the US shipping rates for the comic books a little bit, like by, $2 to $5, and put those all back up on .com. And I have successfully shipped at least 10, maybe more like 15 orders of comics since I did that. About half of those have gone to the United States. Now, they are not moving. And I'm not sure why. So I'm waiting for Chit Chats to get back to me on that. I'm sure that I did everything right in the DDP process. It looks to me like these shipments have crossed the border. So I'm not sure why they're not moving through the system yet. I've asked them and hopefully I'll get a result. But that's actually been working out pretty well. And then as soon as I relisted them, I put them all 20% off. Just, to push a bunch of them out, get a bunch of traffic to the store. And I started sending like offers to watchers with an additional 5% off and a little note that said, hey, if you're in the US, your shipping price already includes the tariffs. So don't worry what eBay tells you. You won't have to pay anything extra. that resulted in, on September 1st, like about $1,200 in comic book sales, which was pretty good. So when you take that into account and you take into account the increase on .ca, the BidRush auction, more focus on Poshmark, which is increasing sales a little bit there. That's still a really small revenue stream for us, but it exists. We're actually standing to profit in September, which I was not expecting 2 weeks ago. I really thought that things were going to be decimated for some time. And we didn't have to work extremely hard to bring things back up to a sustainable level. We even took a couple of days off last week, went out to Maple Ridge, hung out by the river, had a nice lunch. Like, we've been taking some time. I had a small surgery last week, even fit that in. Playing tennis, like doing all this stuff. And still we're achieving this. So, every time I sit back and think, like, you know, what is it? What is the thing that's going to destroy our business? Well, it's not this. I mean, we are figuring it out. So I'm feeling pretty optimistic. If you're not, I understand. There's a lot to figure out. I haven't figured it all out. I haven't even tried the new Canada Post Zonos tariff app thing. Like, nope. I'm just going to work with Stallion and Chit Chats. I'm kind of alternating between the two platforms until I figure out which one of those freight brokers is going to be the best fit. But luckily for us in Vancouver, there's both a Chit Chats and a Stallion location that are just a couple of minutes apart over in Richmond. So either one, or we can go to both if we need to. So that's working out. I'm still finding it a little bit complex. Shipping is taking me longer than it used to, making the labels and stuff like that. But, I'll figure out the process and get it together. And as many of you know, eBay Canada is going to be releasing its EIS program in October, eBay International Shipping. So that might, if it's implemented smoothly, that might allow us to open up quite a few markets because we don't have to think about the duties and tariffs and what they're going to be. eBay will have those calculated upfront, from what I understand. And that means that on .ca, we may be able to open up US shipping again. Will the buyers pay the tariffs? Maybe not. But if they do, then we can ship it and we don't have to worry about losing money. The only hesitation I have with EIS right now is that I know that the majority of my listings don't have country of origin in the item specifics. And I have a feeling that that's going to cause all kinds of problems when I'm trying to use EIS. But anyway, we don't have a lot of information on that. It's still at least a month before that comes down the pipeline. But hopefully it will be able to assist sellers, especially sellers who live outside of areas where Stallion and Chit Chats are operating, because I know that's a barrier for many of you in rural or northern areas. So, um, feeling kind of good. And I'm going to keep updating you. And if you have any questions or you're wondering how we're doing it or what we're doing, please leave a comment. I want to assist as many sellers as I can, especially in Canada. These are tough times. And a lot of people are very down about their livelihoods, and it is totally understandable. And I'm still feeling nervous too. We'll call it cautious optimism. So that's where I'm at. It's just an update for now. The next BidRush auction will be starting probably about a week after this podcast episode airs. That one I expect to be bigger and better. Maybe I'll do a YouTube video about it. I don't know, but I think it's going to be kind of fun. So I will go back to saying that we are always buying. And if you know of a pick or a collection or something great that somebody is selling in southwestern British Columbia or on the island, hit me up and you will get a gift. That's all for today. We'll talk to you soon.